All right, welcome to Life Behind the Badge, episode number 3. I'm Travis Adams. This is Brandon Lovett, and we're here with our first guest interview, the Sheriff of Allen County, Brandon Ford.
Yep, glad to have him here. Know he keeps a busy schedule. Got stuff to do after this, actually, so we appreciate you sitting down with us, taking enough time to knock this out, and we'll get rolling. Yeah. So what we're looking to do in this episode, more or less, is just conversate with the sheriff and recap over his first year in office and talk about maybe what he's wanting to do for the next the duration of his term. Travis, before we get going too far, do you want to thank a few people?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to give a shout out to Jason Hanley over at On Point K9 Academy and Alpha Pet Boarding. Jason's always been a big supporter of law enforcement in our community, and we appreciate his continued support and reaching out and helping us out. We'd also like to thank Josh Sullivan with the Sullivan Construction Group. And they're just a great reminder of what our community is all about, and we appreciate their unsolicited support and backing us up and reaching out and wanting to be a part of this.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Well, we'll get started. So we'll talk about your first year in office, Sheriff.
Well,
go ahead, sorry.
Hey, well, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
You're good.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad you make time for us.
Yeah, for sure. Couldn't pick two better guys to represent us to do this. So
we appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
Kind of cool. I think it's good to be transparent in what you guys are doing. So
yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So coming into your first year, you got it under your belt, essentially a few days away from getting into the new year. How's your first year been?
Oh, it's been great. It's been a good learning. Had a learning curve a little bit. It's what I thought it was, but there's like you guys know, it's so many moving parts.
That's
here.
Fact.
It's definitely a team. I couldn't do it without the help and support of everybody that's here and out in the community. You know, the courts but it's been good. I've learned a lot. And, I've been unfortunate. I inherited a good group, which makes it good. I think the groundwork was laid, from previous sheriffs, so it made it a little easier when they come in.
Yeah, Jeff did a good job, and he was always big on taking care of his guys, and he had a vision too, and wanted to get that stuff going. And we appreciate you coming in here and picking up where you left off and doing your thing and pushing us forward.
Yeah. It was an easy transition for you, but it was also a really easy transition for us. I know Absolutely. Personally, you always hear rumors of new sheriffs, and everybody's always a little iffy or wondering about how that's going to roll, but I couldn't ask for anything more. I thought it's rolled smooth and been
like
great.
We never skipped a beat, just kept going, and we keep moving forward is the big thing. So, I'm glad we're not a stagnant sheriff's office, and we continue to improve and get better.
Right. That was my goal coming in here. I tell people out on the campaign trail, people to ask, what do you want to do? What's your vision? And that's it. This is, not only about me, but the community, but you guys, that work here every day. And, what you guys do reflects my leadership. And that's been the key to you guys, I couldn't ask for a better group. Because,
not to go backwards really, but for the people that don't know you, I know a lot of people know you, but for the people that are listening that don't know you, you want to talk a little bit about your coming up? Like you're from Allen County. You grew up here.
I grew up in the western part of the county. Me and my brothers grew up playing sports. Played basketball. Football, soccer. When I was a kid, and then in high school I played basketball. Played a couple years up at Lindsey Wilson, and then finished out my degree. But I grew up here. Like I said, me and my brothers. They're a couple years older, and one's a couple years younger than I am.
Not to date you too much, but when did you graduate from high school?
I graduated here it seemed like yesterday, but it was in '94.
Oh, you ain't too far off.
No, so I graduated, and then from there went to Lindsey Wilson up in Columbia. And graduated.
I bet you probably didn't think you'd be the sheriff today, back in the day, did you?
No, I didn't.
Back in 94, 1994.
94, no. But I knew law enforcement was something I always wanted to get into.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, my dad, we'd always watch, police shows
Oh,
on
yeah.
TV,
Oh, yeah.
NYPD, Blues. That was one of the shows
Yeah.
when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So, law enforcement was always something I was always interested in. Then went to college and majored in criminal justice and come back home and Bill Foster, he was a current sheriff and he gave me my opportunity and my start in it. So
Yeah, well, that brings us to our next topic. I think it'd be cool if you just give a rundown of your law enforcement career. How you got into it. Starting with Bill there, giving you that opportunity, and then
Yeah.
moving forward and where you ended up, and where you are now.
like I said, I started in '99 under Bill Foster. Stayed here at the sheriff's office till 2005, and at that time we had just started in the sheriff's office here. He implemented the merit system, so you had a little bit of security, but there wasn't a lot of there wasn't a lot of growth.
Sure.
Here as far as a career. So
What were y'all manned with in '95?
probably about nine deputies.
Yeah.
And that was all,
Everybody.
including the sheriff.
Yeah,
Definitely wasn't like it is today.
all hands on deck.
Yeah. So
Came a long way.
when I first started, we didn't even have a third shift. We'd just come stay out till midnight and then go home and take calls.
Right.
But
Yeah.
after that, I went to the city police department for about a year. Went over there, and then an opportunity came on with the state police.
Yeah.
So I left here in '07, went with vehicle enforcement,
Mm-hmm.
and then in '08 they merged with the Kentucky State Police, where I stayed until 2021. And that 14-year career, I was a road. I worked the road, and in my last 7, I was a sergeant. I mainly worked out of Post 3 districts. So,
Right.
Yeah.
and that's, my leadership, I got some leadership in my training, and then, throughout those years.
Yeah, laid the
I
groundwork.
Kind of laid the groundwork.
Yeah.
And I knew when I was a deputy, I always told people, one of these days I'm going to be the sheriff here.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I never.
That came to fruition. Huh?
Yeah, so I always had it on my mind, and I tell people all the time, the sheriff's office is the best job I had, all 3 of them, because it's just
Wear
it's-
many hats
you so many different
Yeah.
hats you
to
wear,
see everybody.
Yeah.
and I feel like every day, and even when I come in here today, I try to make one person. If you can come in and change somebody,
Sure.
Yeah.
or make them have a better day.
Yeah.
I feel I can do it here, and
It always helps. It always helps doing those things at home too. The community where you live, and for me, that's always been a big deal as far as my career goes. Is everybody knows in policing now, you can pretty well get a job anywhere if you're
oh yeah,
a good unit. And for me, it's always been a big stronghold for me is policing where I live. I enjoy policing where I live. And I feel like if I want to make a difference anywhere, making a difference where I live and where my kids grow up is probably the best suited spot for me. So that's I'm with you on that.
I've always felt like that, kind of, not only like policing but teaching. I started off teaching somewhere else, and I enjoyed it and did a good job. But like when you come back home, you have a
For me, it's just a little different feeling, being around the people you've grew up with.
A little more investment there.
Yeah, a little more vested. Sounds bad, but it's probably true, I guess.
Yeah, started my police career. I loved it where I started over when I worked in Bowling Green, and then you come back home, and it means a lot more. So you do a better job just naturally.
exactly.
So it's easier to, you want to do good for our community and stuff. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's the kind of the vibe we've got going on at the sheriff's office. And I know some people would probably beg to differ, but I really I believe that's that's what we've got going on.
I tell people that that's when they say, "Well, what about your first year?" And that goes back to that. I was fortunate to have a group that truly cares about the community. That truly the guys, the camaraderie here is it's like no other place. Even the agencies I did work for and this group here is truly a special group.
Yeah, people probably get tired of hearing me say that, but I say it all the time, and I mean it. We do. We got a really good group of guys that it's like it reminds me of a high school basketball team or something. Everybody's close, everybody gets along, and everybody does their part. So
It does,
we're
because
lucky.
we've started off, we've grown a lot over the last few years, and but we've had our ups and downs, and we've been really small, and it seems like this same core group you know, has always stuck in there, and we've tried to grow that core group, and we've done a good job of it. And you've done a fantastic job your first year, you know, making sure that we stick to that, and you know, you're kind of loyal to those guys and hold us to a certain standard. But you know, I'm glad we've got that core group.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and that's kind of my vision coming in, you know, to kind of rein, you know, not rein us in, but make us a tighter knit group. You know, have everybody have a little skin in the game, so to say, you know, and give you guys, you know, a horizon to look out and say, you know, I've got a future here, and you know, it's like I said, it's a team effort, and I'm here for you guys in the community. If I can make it better for all of us. I'm already retired. I'm doing this because I want to. I want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm here because I want to be here.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think it means a lot too.
It does too. You know, when we're in some of those rough situations, or you know, you can look up and think, "Oh, he doesn't even have to be here." Like, you know,
I recognize that too.
And that means a lot. You know, when you got a leader that's showing up there for you and stuff. So that goes a long ways, and I hope people recognize that.
Yeah, I know in house they do for sure.
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
I think like he's talking about, you got a guy, sheriff, leader of the team per se, showing up, you know, whenever he don't have to. That counts for a lot. That means a lot to the guys, even the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year guys. You know, that's a lot. That means a lot. Cook was always good about that too. I'll give him a nod there. He was good with that. He, no matter what it was, when it was, he'd be there. You know, that counts.
And I think the new guys that come in, you know, we still give them a hard time. We've only got one new guy right now, and we give Dylan a hard time, but you know, you kind of got to earn it a little bit. But when you do, you know, you're in, and we'll take care of you as long as you're doing things right and and helping us go in the right direction. So I think we got enough people pulling in the same direction to keep this ship going the right way.
For sure.
Just let's jump back to, you know, your first year. Is there some stuff you want to talk about? Surprises? What, you know, compared to what you thought it would be coming in, compared to, you know, what you've seen after your first year? Anything that jumped out? Or
like I said, one of the first things, I didn't realize how busy compared to when I was here. You know, in the early 2000s, we were busy, but it's night and day busy compared to what it was. So that was one of my biggest surprises, because I truly thought I would be able to come in, you know, help you guys serve papers, help get out and do but I mean, it's busy.
A little more. Seems like some of the critical incidents are, you know, become more frequent. Like, it's not just a random thing anymore. Like, unfortunately, there's just more of that going on everywhere, and it's going on here too. And we're doing our best to combat it and control that and keep everybody safe and in their bubble, and to where they don't have to worry about that. That'd be our ultimate goal, you know. We don't want you to know about any of that. You know, we want to take care of it. That's what we signed up for.
Yeah, exactly. And that goes, you know, that's another, you know, when I, you know, as running for sheriff, and you hear all the, why are you doing that? It's going to be such a headache. And, you know, when I got here, and like I said, the call volume, but, you know, also another surprise, you know, I know it's cliche, but I said, you know, I do go home and worry every night. I think about you guys. Yeah. You know, I go home and I'm like, man, I hope it's, but I do also on the same, I don't have to work. I can go home and relax.
Yeah.
I know that you guys have got it under control. I know the community's safe, you know, you know, so that's, you know, that's been a blessing.
I remember that first month you started, and we'd have something, you know, we may have a pursuit or somebody, you know, a use of force or something going on, and we were right there showing up right there. Yeah. And I remember I finally had to tell him, I was like, if you try to follow us around for 4 years, you ain't going to make it.
You're going to wear a set of tires, you wear several set of tires.
You're going to have to pace yourself. You know, we'll do the right thing. I promise. We'll be all right. But you have to pace yourself.
Yeah, that's true. And so, I mean, that's, as a sheriff and a leader, you know, that's a really good feeling to know when I go home, I can turn the radio off and relax.
Yeah.
But
I think I'd be the same way if I was you, though, especially when you first get in there. You don't really know. You know what, you kind of know what you've seen, you kind of know what you heard, but you really don't know until you see it for your own self. I'd probably be the same way.
Yeah, we're not perfect. We got our growing to do, just like anybody else. But
I'd be curious too till I got to see what I wanted to see.
Yeah, because
absolutely.
You know, I didn't know a lot of you guys, and you know, and going back to the state and this compared, you know, the sheriff. You know, I love the camaraderie here. I feel like I'm a part of the team and the family, and that means a lot.
Yeah,
you know, I've been welcomed, and as always, you know, coming in somebody new, you know. you know, I was nervous coming in here because I want to be accepted, you know.
Right.
But I think, you know, the way I've kind of went about it, my leadership style, I think, you know, kind of, I
Yeah.
let everybody ease, you know,
Yeah.
I eased into it.
That goes
Yeah.
back a lot to what we talked about last episode. You know, somebody asked, you know, what keeps us showing back up in law enforcement today, and we kind of reverted. We had the same answers. It was,
Yeah.
you know, it's mostly for, you know, the guys. You know, we want to do a good job for the guys we work with, and obviously the community. But I think the camaraderie here is a very big thing for, you know, our retention and keeping guys on track and wanting to do a good job. And I think I don't say it's a competition, but like you know, competition breeds success, and we've got some competitive guys that want to do
sure.
a good job. So you just don't want to be that guy that's
Yeah.
left in the weeds, you know, not doing your part.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I think backing up too, I like the way you do things. You're open minded and stuff. That's something that I really enjoy. Kind of like this. I can assure you, there's never been a podcast in the actual sheriff's office before. You know, like never happened. And when we brought it up to him, no problem, man. Yeah, sign me up. We'll do it. So I mean, the support on this end, you know, along with being open minded and doing stuff, that's what I like. I think that's what everybody likes. You know, I think that's a good trait to have as a leader, in my opinion. And I know we enjoy it. You know, you're the type of guy we can come in and joke around with, but then the next sentence, if we need to hash out something serious, we can do that. So I like that style personally.
yeah. I know, like our community is really supportive as a whole, you know, of law enforcement and stuff, and we see it on a regular basis, probably more than some of the bigger communities.
Yeah.
And I'd say that you probably get most of that. You know, people want to talk to the sheriff, and that's great. They should. You probably hear a lot from people.
A lot, and that's another. You know, I knew we had a supportive community here, but just policing this area for the last 21 years.
Yeah.
Everybody here is, you know, they're very police friendly, but the support that we've gotten from the fiscal court and everything I went to ask for, you couldn't ask for.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't.
Oh,
as
absolutely.
long as I went to, you know, why we need it. This is why. You know.
Yeah.
They've supported us 100%.
Yeah, for the listeners who don't know what he's talking about when he's mentioned the fiscal court. The fiscal court is our governing body here that essentially yays and nays the sheriff's request for whatever it may be, new equipment. They help with the budget, set the budget. So if there's anything that he goes and asks for need wise for the part, whether it be equipment, vehicles, whatever, those are the guys that vote on it. So when he's talking about the fiscal court, that's what he's talking about. And yeah, he's right. They've been great.
Thanks. I appreciate you saying that, because I know sometimes we take for granted what we know, and you know, so yeah, that's it. That's down and dirty on our local government stuff.
Support wise, I feel like we're pretty supported. I mean,
Just like at Christmas, you know.
yeah,
Every day we had people delivering
yeah,
biscuits, candy, cakes.
yeah.
Hey, that's a great time. Shout out to I couldn't sit here and name off everybody that brought stuff. That's how much stuff. I mean, it's multiple times every day, people bringing stuff into the office. So shout out to all the folks that, you know, that support us and hook us up with some of the candy and cookies and all that stuff. And we've got some work to do for the New Year's to get back in shape and
Gotta do some
and
sit-ups.
make sure we're fit for duty per se and
That's
ready
right.
to go.
'Cause there ain't none of it wasted. I can assure you that.
Yeah, we've tore some candy and cookies and cake up. Jumping forward, is there some things you'd like to, you know, spit some more knowledge about just the ins and outs of the sheriff's office? Maybe something that we take for granted that people don't know. Maybe some of the services we offer. I know I put you on the spot here, but I mean, there's.
Well, like we were talking, we have so many wheels to make this, you know, to make this thing work, and you know, from the process, the civil papers to vehicle inspections to the answering calls. You know, there's just so many things that are done here that people like myself, you know, I knew they were done, but until you come in here daily, you just don't realize.
Yeah.
You know,
Because
the people that come in and out of here to pay taxes.
Yeah.
That was a big learning. You know, I knew we collected taxes, but
it's a big process.
The process of getting to that process to actually collect them, and then once you collect them, and you know, making sure all the checks and balances.
Yeah, a lot of money.
There's a lot to it. So.
Yeah, there's a lot that stuff, you know, we're responsible for serving the courts, collecting taxes, and the courts itself, you know, that's that's a huge job in itself. Serving all civil papers, criminal papers, transports, and luckily we have a great jail staff, that helps us out a lot and stuff. So without them, we'd be hard pressed to keep up.
Yeah, they've bailed us out a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And do so regularly.
That's a good term for that.
Yeah, no pun intended. They'll bail us out.
So there's a lot of stuff that goes on here outside of what people think of when they see a law enforcement agency. The catching bad guys and taking people to jail, and that's all the stuff we signed up for. But we know we've got other duties to do as well, and we try to keep up, and we try to be as timely as we can. In our response to calls for service. When somebody calls for a theft report or a lockout or anything. So just a lot of stuff going on, and
yeah, there's no trouble. If you're not, you can stay. You should be busy. As a whole body, as far as the sheriff's department goes. If you're not busy, there's a problem because there's plenty to do.
What about looking forward? What's have you got some? I know you probably do, and I don't some stuff, some plans,
forward,
ideas.
Just, continue on the track that we're going. The projection. I think I've got a good leadership team built. Also, some in-house things, to keep working on. Our evidence, I think we've done an excellent job getting that squared away.
Yeah, Tabert's worked his hind end off on that. He's done a good job.
But just keep going like we're going. But also, hopefully I can get body cams. That's my next big purchase that I would like to get. Before I get out of here on this first term, I'd like to have us in some body cams.
Yeah.
Not just just for the transparency and the safety of everybody and in the community. I think it's good.
Yeah. And we hear people talk about body cams like, oh, you want to wear body cams? And we're like, you don't understand the ins and outs of everything and the position it can put us in if we don't. And we want to be transparent as an agency, like you said. We completely back you in that. Yeah. And it's not only just the transparency; it's a great investigative tool and that stuff. And it's just the way things are going now. It's if you don't have them, you're behind. And that's, and I know we'll get there, but it's an important thing, and I think everybody at the office definitely welcomes it.
Yeah, for sure, I do too. I think that's one of those things where 10 years ago it was pretty common to see departments, agencies without them, and now you're hard pressed to find them that don't have them. So
definitely behind the curve, and that's one thing. I think we're working on our vehicles, and I want to get a maintenance program. We're starting that, and just like I said, keep going where we're going, and maybe hopefully we can get another employee or two.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nicer,
Hey, I'm up for that. That sounds good. Yeah.
But because our call volume, definitely we could use it.
For sure.
The fiscal court, we keep talking. Fiscal court's gonna, send something to block us on Facebook or something. They'll put us in Facebook jail. We
put us in 30-day
keep talking about spending money.
Yeah,
but no, they've been so good to us, so we appreciate them. The judge and all the guys up there, they've been feel like they've backed us really well.
No complaints.
So, well, we look forward to what this looks like 4 years from now. I think and maybe even after that, 8, 12, whatever you want to do, we'd be glad to have you.
However long your wife will let you.
Yeah, that's it. My goal's 8, so I hope so. Like I said, my first year has definitely been an honor. That I've been given this opportunity. I'm thankful for all the support, the people that put me here. So
absolutely,
I definitely thank them, and I take a lot of pride in it, and being the sheriff of Allen County.
Yeah,
I hate to say a dream, but once I got into it, I knew, one of these days I'd like to do it, and I think I can, make a difference for you guys in this community. And when I get tired, I'll go home. But right now, I'm enjoying it.
I sit back and I think about because there's so much stuff that goes on in the law enforcement world, and sometimes I think, man, I bet he wished he'd take that job today. But it's got its ups and downs, and I think that's what kind of builds the camaraderie here. And it's an ever evolving job, and we've constantly got to learn. And we appreciate you pushing the training aspect of the job and. The supervision and everything, and I think we're going in the right direction. And
I do too. I think efficiency is a good word to use with Ford. I think you've done a really good job of making things efficient. There's 10 ways you can do something, but that don't mean it's always the most efficient. So I feel like you've done a really good job, my personal opinion, in that first year of making things efficient. So
Well, I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
appreciate y'all's support and having me on here.
We appreciate you
You know,
coming on
so-
here. We're a bunch of nobodies on YouTube.
That's right. Yeah, we're just trying
Well-
to kickstart this thing. We appreciate you being our first guest and
Yeah.
jumping on here. Brandon, it's kind of his idea. Again, the brains behind this, but he was really adamant that we get the sheriff on here first, and
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I thought that was
I
an
think you guys are
excellent
going to do
idea.
great on it, and I think the public, I know people are going to be watching and listening and following you guys.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Well, we thank you for jumping on,
Yeah.
and you got anything else, Brandon?
I'm good. Thanks.
Sheriff?
Appreciate it.
hey, I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
everybody out there.
You guys be sure to stay up to date with us on our Facebook page. Any content or any upcoming events we have, we'll push that out on there. Also, continue to shoot us some ideas, some content ideas. Keep asking questions. We really enjoyed the question and answer episode,
Yeah.
and we hope to do one of those again soon.
Yeah.
So jump on there, whether it's on this post or anything, and leave us some feedback or some comments or just some more questions you all might want to answer. Again, thanks to Jason Hanley and Josh Sullivan for your support, and
Yeah, we appreciate those
Yeah.
guys.
anything we can do for your companies, we'd like to help. But we appreciate you all. Thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you later.